back to part 3 of Paul's tour of the USS Cod. So part 1 was the deck, superstructure area. Part 2, forward torpedo room. And now you're all experts on that forward torpedo room. Now we're going to take part 3, the forward battery. So come on with me as we leave the forward torpedo room, officers' toilet, and enlisted men berthing to officers' country. Door at bulkhead 35. This is the domain of the officers. This is where officers sleep. They have staterooms, they have their wardroom, they have a little pantry and their shower. Of course, because of the nature of fleet submarines, enlisted men would transit this area. Depending on the captain, you know, how you transited might vary. I know one of our captains insisted that no bare-chested guys in their underwear walk through here. If you're transiting officers' country, you had to have a shirt on and be clothed. A little lax for other officers that came after him. But, you know, you have curtains. You have just these little fabric curtains for privacy. And, of course, you didn't linger. You know, you didn't try to eavesdrop. What happened in the wardroom stayed in the wardroom. It's called forward battery because below our feet is where the first group of batteries, X-side cells for us, and maybe Evan can put a cutaway to our beautiful X-side cell replica, or a picture perhaps of an operational submarine. But there were 126 lead-acid batteries down below. They've been removed. Right now, Cod has a concrete block down there put in by the Navy for stability. But so this would be forward battery, 1/2 of your underwater electrical storage capacity. Right here at bulkhead 35, we have our wardroom pantry. Now, the wardroom pantry was a small kitchenette, if you will. The only food they're making in here is toast and coffee. They have a hot box and a chill box to keep food hot or cold for the officers who were not able to sit down and have a meal. Perhaps they're asleep or on duty. There would be a steward's mate on duty in here. And of course, we have a beautiful and very popular program about how one of our steward's mates was grievously injured by hot coffee hitting him in the face. But here's his little fold-down bench to sit on. Of course, the pass-through would be closed most of the time because what the officers are having to say is not anybody's business. But it's got dishes and things and silverware and cutlery and utensils and linens. The officers shower, and through the little door there is the hot water tank. So officers could grab a shower. We have a 3-bunk stateroom here, which each stateroom has a fold-up Pullman-style sink, a waste can, a shaving mirror and such. 3 bunks. This was called the playpen because this is where your ensigns, your lowest-ranking officers, would be billeted. And of course, there's the World War II officers' bedspreads on those, and they have drawers and cabinets. Come on in the wardroom. We've visited the wardroom before, but basically, you know, you have your namesake picture from the shipyard that built you, Electric Boat Cod, the clock. Behind Evan is the buffet where the silver is locked, and a lot of the china. The table's currently set for coffee and fruit. Call buttons to call the Yeoman or the steward's mates if you want some more coffee or some more cherry pie. The chart locker here is where the maps were stored, the charts of where you're going. Record player, shortwave radio here for entertainment purposes. Communications, the sound-powered phones. There's a great photo in here. We can do some cutaways. But basically, this is where the officers dined. and held meetings, played cards, recreation. Some great pictures in here. Over here, we got a 2-man stateroom. Hatch down to the battery compartment. This is the commanding officer's stateroom. He's got his own desk, pictures. He's got, again, wash basin, a closet. Here's the XO's cabin. He shared it with the gunnery torpedo officer and the assistant gunnery torpedo officer. The ship's safe. And again, sinks, clocks. The goat locker, the chief petty officer's berthing. It's a 5-man stateroom. Again, sink, lockers, drawers, medicine cabinet, shaving station. Come on in here. We've got a little bit of room. Evan, if you can get in here, you know, they were appointed. They had their individual drinking glasses. They had their toothbrushes on the side here. If I open up the medicine cabinet, we can see they have some shaving accoutrements. Their Pepsodent tooth powder. Toothpaste wasn't quite a thing yet. Shaving mugs. Gotta look good. Night lights, which based on photos of our of Freddie Krubel there and the captain, they had night red light bulbs in there. Interestingly enough, there was a provision. I'm not sure how often it was used in World War II, but this side, the 2 bunks here, there's 3 here. These 2 bunks could flip up and out and create a couch, as was done in the wardroom for additional bunking. But this could convert into a couch. And there was a fold-up table so that the chiefs, if they wanted, could eat separate from the enlisted men. Otherwise, chiefs dined, and I believe for the most part of the Cod history, chiefs dined in the crew's mess with the enlisted men. They slept with the officers, but ate with the enlisted men. But they had that provision on the boats to have a small table in here and eat in here. I don't think I'd want to eat in this little cramped space. But let's back out. And arguably, perhaps the most important room on the boat, because this is where your pay records were maintained, the ship's secretary or the yeoman's office. Again, the absolute epitome of space efficiency. Safes, several safes in here, file cabinets, a seat you can lift up if you need to get the lower cabinet open. The yeoman often worked with the door closed simply because he could. It gave you a little bit of privacy. But it's pretty much the center where your personnel records and payroll records were maintained. And battle telephone, additional oxygen, flashlight box here for emergencies, and your individual cell voltmeter switch for the forward battery. This is an interesting little device. Periodically, you would check the voltage of individual cells. And I see it goes from 0 to 3 volts DC, and these hinges have been painted perhaps one time too many. But here you would take your connector, and 1 to 126, you could test the voltage of each of your cells. And of course, you had to log that in. So here is one of 2 roughly 1 square foot pieces of the original linoleum that was on the deck, and we used this piece to color match the new decking that's being installed throughout the boat to replace the 1960 vintage tile, which actually we replaced the 1960 vintage tile in the late 80s with safe vinyl tile. So don't give me any of the BS about asbestos tile. That's been long gone from the boat. But anyway, so there you go. That's a little piece of original fabric. This also covered tabletops and benches in in the dining spaces. So, but without batteries, this thing is kind of waiting for a job. But voltmeter, and it's a big space. It's not the largest. In fact, the largest compartment on a fleet submarine is in fact after battery. That's the largest cubic foot volume-wise. And of course, you have another telephone communication station, battle telephone and sound power. Let's see, who are we talking? We're going to ring the control room, so we can talk to control room, assuming that, of course, this hatch would be closed. And of course, thanks to crewman Phil McCourt for restoring the ringers throughout the boat. Good job, Phil. And again, every nook and cranny has a storage space. Above us, we can't really see it. Oh, here it is. This is the detonator, self-destruct detonator, in case we have to blow the boat up. Those are the detonators. But we're not going to do that today. We still have work to do on restoring cod. And I see this is a great time to end the tour because we've got some visitors coming right behind us. So thanks for joining us on this, the Forward Battery. We're going to be in the control room next. So remember, hit like, subscribe, notification bell, and we'll be back with more. Thanks.